Welcome to Inside the Vandals, a weekly show covering Idaho men's and women's basketball. It's brought to you by the School of Journalism and Mass Media.
Welcome to Inside the Vandals. I'm Braden Kane.
And I'm Dylan Ladding.
Well, Dylan, this is the last show of the season with both the men and the women wrapping up their regular season conference play this week. And they'll both start off with wins against Northern Arizona.
That's right, Braden. The men picked up a big win here at home against Northern Arizona, 66-52. With more on that game, Caleb Aoy.
It's senior week here in Cowan Spectrum as the Vandals faced a hungry Northern Arizona squad on Thursday. Both teams struggled shooting from the floor to start the game, and that would continue throughout the first half. Idaho shot only 32% from the floor, scoring 24 points in the first, with BJ Blake taking credit for over half of those points. The Lumberjacks also shot a measly 29% from the floor in the first, but still managed to take a 25-24 lead going into the locker room. NAU would hang around for the first part of the second half, but the Vandals changed all of that with a 25-3 run stretching over 9 minutes, giving Idaho the 64-41 lead with only 3.5 minutes left in the game. The Vandals proved to be too much for the Lumberjacks to handle in the second half, ending the night with a 66-52 victory. BJ Blake led all scorers with 22 points, as well as grabbing 14 boards to get the double-double. Idaho locks in the number 2 seed for the Big Sky tournament and moved to 13-4 in conference play with 1 game to go. They'll play Southern Utah Saturday night here in Cowan Spectrum for senior night. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Caleb Aoy.
Well, you know, Dylan, the men came out a little bit slow this last Thursday against NAU. Ultimately picked up the win. Let's hope we can just see them pick up another one tonight.
Yeah, let's hope they can keep those wins piling up. Against Southern Utah tonight, I sat down with Coach Don Verlin earlier this week to discuss tonight's matchup. But first, we'll take a look at 3 standout seniors that will certainly be missed on and off the court. Michael Garner with more on the story.
From Seattle, Washington.
My name is Victor Sanders and I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Rayon Blake, most people call me DJ, from Seattle, Washington.
The Vandals have 3 standout seniors who all followed different paths that ultimately brought them together at Idaho.
So I transferred in from junior college, North Idaho College out of Coeur d'Alene. I just got welcomed with open arms, and you know these guys, the group of teammates, you know it changed from a lot from last year.
You know, as a freshman, you have to learn to adjust to the game. You got to see things that these older guys see, and you just got to listen. You know, you got to listen twice as much as you speak, and I took keen to that, and I tried to use that as much as I can.
I've grown in a lot of ways. Me and the coaches really worked hard on my shooting a lot coming in from my freshman year and on, and it's improved a lot throughout the years.
Well, I feel like I got to work on my whole game. Nothing's really complete. You know, the sky's the limit, but I would have to say just being more consistent on a daily night basis, like, because once I be professional, you got to play, you know, consecutive games back to back, and you can't have a game where you slip up. You got to make sure you bring it every night. So I would just have to say consistency.
You know, I want to be the alpha male and that I can lead this team into, you know, the light, you know, to a championship, and that's what my goal has been since forever.
You know, that's something that you dream as a kid, you know, winning the Big Sky Conference tournament, going to the national tournament. You know, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to do that.
And so it honestly means the world. I've always wanted to win a championship. I haven't won one in high school or in college so far, so just coming in and hopefully winning one of those, and especially with all these group of guys that we have here, we're all like family, so it would just mean a lot to me to get that done. You
know, like me and my teammates said, we always say this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us, and we're just trying to have fun. And going to the national tournament, that's a blessing to be a part of, you know, and that's what we work hard for this whole season, is to get there and make sure we punch our name in the dance. So just to be on a up and down bumpy road like that, it's been pretty cool, because you know these guys are my brothers, and it's a lifetime contract with these guys.
Basketball creates relationships. I wouldn't have none of this if it wasn't for basketball, and I'm appreciative of that. And you around somebody for 4 years, you build relationships that are unbreakable, and that's, I think, what I got here with these guys. And no matter where I go in life, anybody can call me and I'll be there for them.
Wow, Coach, those three have been a huge and pivotal part of this program. Let's start off talking about Vic Sanders, a guy who dropped off a lot of college teams' recruiting plans after he suffered a knee injury in his senior year. What made you stick with him, and how important is he to this team?
Well, he's been very important to this basketball program. This team, every team he's been involved with. Vic loves to play the game of basketball. He's a competitor. But every minute he's on the floor, he wants to compete. He loves to win, and that's probably the thing I like most about Vic is his winning attitude. You know, obviously his numbers speak for themselves. Second all-time leading scorer in Vandal history, one of the best three-point shooters, has grown his game from the two guard. You know, heck, he started off playing the three spot, the small forward spot for us when he got here, and then to the two guard, the shooting guard spot, and now some at the point guard. So he's really grown as a person. He's really grown in his game, and couldn't be happier for him. And I look forward to him finishing the year the way I think he will, and then moving on next year and getting a chance to play professionally.
Next, let's talk about a guy like Perrion Calandret. Unfortunately, he won't be able to play tonight due to his injury, but talk to me about his journey, because he's suffered 2 injuries. So just talk to me about his journey and how he's grown as a player.
Well, he's really grown as a player. When he came here, he was about 175 pounds. You know, now he's close to 190. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. He's been one of our best defenders in this program for a long period of time. He's a wonderful kid. He's been our team leader. He's graduated from the University of Idaho. He has one class this spring semester to get his second major, you know, his second degree, and that's just a tribute to who Perrion is. And you know, Perrion's done a lot of great things, and he's also gave the crowd a lot of things to cheer about. His dunks will go down in Vandal history.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about a guy like BJ Blake, a guy who started off at North Idaho College and signed here pretty early after getting there. Talk to me about, has he been everything you've hoped for, and what has he meant to this team and moving forward as well?
Yeah, you know, we knew when we recruited BJ, he was going to be a good basketball player. I mean, he was a junior college All-American. I mean, those kind of things speak for themselves. But yeah, he's done a great job, especially this year. You know, I challenged him before the start of the season to lead the league in rebounding, and he's right there at the top. He's led it most of the year. I think he slipped to second this week, but he's an excellent rebounder. BJ brings his effort, his passion. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. I mean, he brings it every single day, and that's what's allowed him to be a good player. You know, he's a dynamic kid. He can score it inside, he can score it outside, he can rebound it, and he's meant a lot to this program. And this year, I think he's upped his game even another level than he did his first year.
Always tough to lose seniors. You lose 6 tonight. How do you keep your team focused on such an emotional night?
Well, it's not an ending; it's a beginning. It's a beginning to something special that we gotta take care of our business next week. You know, they've all done everything that we've asked them to do, and you know, I've always felt like and I told them this: if you leave something better than you found it, then you've done your job, and obviously they have.
And obviously the season's not over yet, so let's get into tonight's game, the important part of tonight's game. You guys face off against Southern Utah, a team that you beat 80-76. What did you do well in that first matchup that you can put into this game?
Well, you know, Southern Utah is a very talented basketball team, a lot more talented than they were a year ago. They've got 4 or 5 guys who can really get it going in at all 3 areas. They can shoot it from behind the arc. They've got good post-up play. They got good guys who can drive the ball to the basket. They're a good, solid basketball team. Again, what we have to do is stick to who we are and do what we do. You know, I know that sounds redundant and repetitive, but it's what you do this time of year. There's not a lot of tricks this time of year. You know, when we're 30, 31, 32 games, whatever it is, into the season, and you've had almost 100 practices, there's not a lot of tricks. There's not a lot of things that can change. What you got to do is have the mental fortitude to do it time and time and time again.
Coach, it's the final game here at home. How crucial is it to get this final win at home for seeding purposes, as well as getting that first round bye?
Well, it's important. I mean, you know, obviously the first round bye is really important because you have to play one less day. You always want to win your last game going into the tournament, so you got some momentum going into the conference tournament. So, every game's important to us. What we do, as it says in our notebook, is we do everything we can to win our next game. We don't care who it is. And it's always a big game because we're in it. And that's kind of how we approach it in our basketball program.
Thanks, Coach, for joining us all season, and good luck in Reno.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Inside the Vandals.
The road to Reno is here. March 5th, 2018, the Big Sky Conference will descend upon Reno, Nevada for the 2018 Big Sky Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. Go to roadtoreno.com to book tickets and accommodations for Big Sky Men's and Women's Basketball. The road to Reno is here. Be part of the thrill of Big Sky Men's and Women's Basketball and join the road to Reno.
Let's hope these 6 seniors can pick up a big win here at home tonight in the Cowan Spectrum as they're sent on their way to Reno for that conference tournament, in that tournament that is so coveted in the NCAA.
Let's hope they can make it to that March Madness tournament. That would be huge for the men. The women, on the other hand, closing up their regular season conference schedule this week as they're heading to Reno for their conference tournament next week. I had the chance to sit down with Jerry McCorkle before they left for their long trip. Joined now by senior Jerry McCorkle. Jerry, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Very emotional week last week. It was senior week. Saturday against Weber State, you had 31 points, 13 rebounds. You went 20 for 21 from the free throw line. How does it feel to have that type of performance in your last home game as a Vandal?
I really wish that we could have gotten the win. To have those type of numbers, it is fun to play in a game like that. But yeah, I really wish we could have come away with a win.
So you guys had back-to-back losses last week. You hadn't lost back-to-back games since you guys lost to Northern Colorado and Sac State back on December 30th and January 4th. What was the message from Coach Newley after Saturday's loss, and what's been the main focus this week in practice for you guys?
I think against both of those teams, we didn't really stick to the game plan, and I think that's why we're having so much success in that 9-game winning streak. So this week has been about knowing who we're playing against and sticking to the game plan.
So despite those 2 losses last week, you guys are still second in the Big Sky, 11-5. You have 4 teams right behind you, tied for third at 10-6. How much more crucial are these 2 games this week, knowing that even just 1 loss could bump you guys out of that first round bye for the Big Sky tournament?
Yeah, it's crazy. All the teams in this conference can beat anyone. It's anyone's night. So I think it's I don't know, it's every game is crucial, and I think every win is crucial. To be able to stay at the top, you have to control what you can control and not worry about what the other teams are doing.
So tell me some pros and cons of having to end your conference schedule with 2 road games and then having to go right back on the road again for the Big Sky tournament.
Well, the good thing about it is that we play pretty well on the road. I don't know why, but it's always been like that. And the cons would be that we are on the road. You don't get to sleep in your own bed, have your own comforts. But yeah, we've done pretty well on the road, so I think hopefully we should come away with a couple wins.
So you, Taylor Pierce, Michaela Ferenz are the only 3 players on this team with postseason experience. You guys also were all 3 a part of the team that won the Big Sky Championship 2 years ago, and you played a significant role on the team. How much does that championship experience that you 3 bring to the table, how much value does that have for this team?
It's enormous because we understand close situations, and that the conference tournament is a whole new ball game. It's like a whole new season. We always go in saying everyone's 0-0. For wins and losses. So I think having that experience and having the people like Christina Salvatore on the bench and stuff, it kind of adds more experience again, and you're kind of more calm in what could be really stressful situations. So
tomorrow you guys will start a road trip that'll last just about 10 days. How much of an impact will just being together as a team and bonding have for you guys during this road trip?
Well, we're lucky this year with this type of team and all of our personalities. We kind of all really bond well together. So I don't see that as being as much of an issue. But it is fun. I think road trips are fun to hang out in hotel rooms and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we all get along well, so I think it should be okay.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you today, Jerry. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with Inside the Vandals. Well, good luck to the men tonight in their senior night game, as well as the women with their conference tournament next week.
Yeah, good luck to both those teams. Up next, Idaho, Southern Utah, Right here in the Cowan Spectrum, Chris King with the call. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Dylan Ladding.
And I'm Braden Kane.
Thanks so much for letting us be a part of your basketball experience, and we'll see you next season.